Thanks so much for tuning in to Double T Insider. I'm Taylor Peters alongside Robert Giovanetti. A big win for Texas Tech basketball on Monday night. They opened up the Hall of Fame Classic with a win over USC, 78-63. And to say that they came alive in the second half, I think is a bit of an understatement.
I loved watching Coach Beard in the first half, just seeing him silently seethe there on the bench. And you knew you'd get a different effort from the group in the second half, which you did. Defense travels everywhere you go, and I think we saw that in the second half.
They would go from shooting 27% from the field in the first half to more than 80 in the second half. And so I think a lot of that is just kind of having to rally, that, you know, they had to figure it out. They had to kind of work through the kinks. But I would have to say that a halftime speech from Coach Beard would probably make a big difference.
Yeah, and you know, they play so many guys, and he's still trying to find the right chemistry and the right combinations to put out there. They all got much more aggressive in the second half going to the basket. And you have a lot of offensive weapons. We saw that in the second half.
And guard play was really big. You had Jarrett Culver, Davide Moretti, Matt Mooney all go for double digits in scoring. And, of course, Tariq Owens was part of that, too. But really impressive things from that end.
We've talked a lot on this show about just the blend of the veterans like Mooney and Owens and then the younger guys. But we're seeing, I think, really the maturation of Jarrett Culver right before our eyes, where he understands how to take over games. He understands when to go to the basket. He understands when to dish the ball. He's going to be fun to watch this year.
And we've seen Matt Mooney, you know, a guy who obviously has a lot of potential to score, and we saw that from what he was able to do at South Dakota. But he's a guy who's able to distribute the ball really well, too. And you mentioned Jarrett and his ability to be able to do that. But Matt's IQ in basketball, just the way that he's able to see the court, plays a huge role in what he's able to do in distribution.
Very steady, too.
Yeah.
When he misses, he doesn't get too down. He'll come back and take another shot. He's a veteran. He's been through these kind of things. He understands what to do. Man, I tell you what, having him on this team is going to be so valuable, especially when you get into conference play.
And it's fun to be able to watch these guys kind of cut it loose, right?
Yes.
Because you watch a guy like Tariq Owens and you know that he's just so naturally gifted. But to be able to have him out there and know that he's kind of, when he really starts to feel himself, he makes a big difference on the court and can really make some big plays.
Can't play off him. He'll knock down that jumper from outside, but also he goes to the bucket. He gets the cleanup baskets. Again, a huge addition for Coach Beard and this team.
And on Tuesday night, the Red Raiders would face off against Nebraska and secure the Hall of Fame Classic Championship. They defeated the Cornhuskers 70-52. Another strong showing by Jarrett Culver as he would lead the charge with 26 points and 6 rebounds. Matt Mooney would tack on 15 points, and Tariq Owens would add 8 rebounds and 5 points for the Red Raiders. So another big victory for Texas Tech as they move to 5-0 on the season and turn their attention to facing off against Northern Colorado this weekend.
Meanwhile, Red Raider football falls in a tough one on the road at Kansas State. This one's really putting Texas Tech in a must-win situation against Baylor.
Have to win Saturday if you want to keep your season extended, if you want to look at any kind of bowl action. Just such a tough environment Saturday, not necessarily the crowd. It was just so cold. The wind chill was in the teens and the low teens, and Red Raiders could just never get on track offensively.
And we're not used to sitting here and talking about a game in which we didn't score any offensive points. And so that is obviously a really big challenge, and it puts, you know, this offense in a position where they have to kind of come back and redeem themselves.
I've never seen such a thing where you had 3 quarterbacks and all 3 of them hobbled. Jet was not himself on Saturday. We saw that in what transpired on the field. Again, they just couldn't get the running game going. Nothing offensively worked for Tech.
But Eli Howard earlier this week talked to the media, and he said, you know, we kind of thrive in this situation because we've all done high school playoffs. We've all been in a position where we have to win the next game. So we want to do this for Coach Kingsbury, and we want to do this for the staff.
It's almost a playoff type situation for them.
It is.
They have to win if they want to have those extra practices in December and go to some bowl game after Christmas, and so hopefully they can get that done on Saturday.
Red Raider soccer, though, would go on the road and face off against number 12 Virginia in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Gio, a game does not get closer than this one right here. The Red Raiders would fall in triple overtime by penalty kicks.
Tough match to lose. Tom Stone felt going into it that was a good matchup for his group. It's always tough to lose, especially at that point for those seniors, and then on the PKs, but they left it all out there on the field on that game.
And coaches talk so much about what this senior class means, and every group of seniors is really special to every team, but this one is really special because this is the group when they were freshmen that had that big postseason run.
Yes, they were all part of that with Janine Becky and that group, and you know they wanted to end on a high note. It was a great season for that group.
And it was a great weekend for Red Raider volleyball, who would go on the road and face off against Kansas State. This is only the second time in program history that they get the season sweep over K-State. They beat them at home. They beat them there on the road. That's a big victory for Coach Greystone.
Again, they've got postseason aspirations as well. That group had to get that win on the road, have to win some of those matches on the road, and they were able to do that in Manhattan.
And they return home to face off against Texas on senior night on Wednesday. Still to come on Double T Insider, we're talking more Red Raider football with defensive back Adrian Frye.
Double T Insider is brought to you in part by Plains Capital Bank. Bank with confidence. The Red Raider Club. Your support, their effort, our fearless champions. Texas Farm Bureau. Register today for your chance to deliver the game ball and receive a VIP experience at a Texas Tech home football game. Contest details available at texastech.com.
Let's see if they can cash in here. To the end zone, Zuber thrown up in the air. It's intercepted. The freshman Adrian Frye takes it away in the Kansas State end zone.
Welcome back into Double T Insider. After the game, I asked Deshaun Johnson what he thought about that play, and he said, "We see Adrian Frye do this every single day in practice."
I was pretty close to where that interception took place, and you didn't even get the grasp of it until you watched it again on the big screen. It was, what an athletic play that was.
And he makes that play, and the sideline just erupts. They fight for this guy. They love this guy, and he's one that just provides a lot of confidence and a lot of energy to the sideline.
He's a guy going into the season, we really weren't sure what we had with him, but we knew that we saw him in spring and during the workouts that he could obviously make big plays, which he's done with the 5 interceptions so far this year. He's really been a go-to guy for the secondary.
He's tied for 4th among interceptions in all of college football. And that's a big deal because this is a young man who, again, is just still a freshman. The ceiling for him is so high.
And Coach Gibbs preaches turnovers and trying to create turnovers, and this is a kid who's bought into it. And obviously, as you mentioned, he's doing it very well.
A big difference maker for this Texas Tech defense. Let's go to Outside the Huddle with Adrian Frye. You're watching Outside the Huddle, brought to you by Southwest Bank. I'm Taylor Peters here with freshman defensive back Adrian Frye. Can we just start with that interception in the K-State game? It was a beautiful one-handed catch. You come down in the end zone. Will you just set that up for us?
Well, I kind of anticipated that the ball was going to be thrown to number 7 because he was the top leading receiver. And then I kind of seen him check, so I was like, okay, he's coming to him. You know, so I just got to be prepared. And then I played my technique, and I turned around. The opportunity came, and I was really going to bat it down, but it just like hit my hand and it kind of stuck. So I was like, okay, pull it in, and it just fell right in.
I guess we're going to get a pick here, and that was your 5th of the season. You're now tied 4th nationally in interceptions, 2nd among freshmen. Is that something you've always kind of had a knack for, or do you feel like you've kind of grown and developed in that, especially with last year's redshirt season?
Coach preaches, you know what I'm saying, turnovers.
Yeah.
So however we get the ball in our offense hands again is always a good thing. So whenever the ball was thrown and I had the opportunity to catch it, I just did what I could to get it.
You've mentioned being from Houston, but you've come to Lubbock growing up. Your granddad lives here, and I know that he's really proud of you being able to play football here. He's a big Texas Tech football fan. What does being a Red Raider for you mean to him?
It means a lot. When he heard that I got the offer and that I committed, he lost his marbles. He tells all his friends about it and everything. It's just great to see that my grandpa was that happy for me to be playing.
So he'll be tuning in this weekend, right?
Oh, of course.
Texas Tech facing off against Baylor this weekend. For details, check our website at texastech.com. For Adrian Frye, I'm Taylor Peters. This is Outside the Huddle, brought to you by Southwest Bank. But as we mentioned, Texas Tech football still fighting for postseason hopes as they face off against Baylor and Arlington this weekend.
Big matchup on Saturday. Both these teams 5-6. One of them is going to keep playing. One of them is going to be done for the year, and you hope the Red Raiders come out on top.
I hope that it's us. We both will be there celebrating Thanksgiving together. So why don't you join us? Go buy tickets at texastech.com. Still to come on Double T Insider, we are joined here on set by Lady Raider head coach Marlene Stallings. Welcome back into Double T Insider. We are joined here on set by Lady Raider head coach Marlene Stallings. Coach, I know you're so busy right now, so I appreciate your time.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
The last time that you and I sat on this stage or the studio and we talked about the first plan of action whenever you had gotten here, you had mentioned that it's getting the right people in here. And you did that with your staff, and you did that with the group of players this year. Now you're looking ahead to your first signing class. What do you like about these 3 players that you're bringing in?
Well, I first want to say that was a fun day last time we were on set. And it's another fun day here talking about our signees. Our class was ranked 40th in the nation, highest ranked class in quite a while. And we're really excited with what we have coming in. And Naila Dillard and Alexis out of California. And then we've got Maka coming in from Georgia. So those 3 will elevate us immediately. They bring different things to the table, but it really helps us in the perimeter game get stronger immediately. We're bringing in people that can shoot the 3 ball, that have the versatility as guards to play multiple positions and also go down and post up even as a perimeter player. And then you know, we have Emma and Drea sitting out to not forget about them. So we're real thrilled about what we have for next season already.
What do you like? What do you think that they've revealed to you just being able to put them up against some competition?
Yeah, well, obviously we started with the two wins, and I really like the tempo that we're playing with the personnel that we have this year, and they've really come along. And you know, the daily challenge that I have with them right now is we've come such a long way, and there are a few more steps I want you to get to and continue to grow in this non-conference slate before we hit Big 12 play. And we know they're very capable. They don't realize how good they can be individually in a lot of areas, and I really like the fact that we're able to challenge them daily in that piece and how hard they're working to get better and to grow and how much they really want it and to want to be successful.
And being able to get them out in practice was something that whenever they had first gotten here, they weren't able to do quite yet. And so it all started in the weight room with Coach Ralph. He had a big task of getting them in play shape and just kind of speak to what he's been able to do with that group and how far he's kind of helped bring them along before they were able to get out on the court and practice.
Yeah, for us, is the weight room is kind of like a baby learning to crawl before they walk and so forth. So that's the foundation of everything that we do. You have to be fit, you have to be strong, you have to be in good cardio shape to be able to do what we want them to do and to play basketball, quite frankly, because we're such an aerobic sport, and you have to be at the highest level of fitness. And I think that, you know, he laid the foundation from day one when he arrived, and we've just continued to push forward. And we've seen tremendous strides in our young ladies and what they've been able to do. And they're able to see the results and some of that hard work that they put in all the way back in April when I first arrived.
To be able to watch a player like Kristlyn Carr come in with the command that she has and to be able to be a true freshman and really play with a lot of poise and confidence, what impresses you most about the way that she's been able to take what you want to do with this offense and kind of run with it?
Yes, well, I'll first say, to your point, is the strength piece gives them confidence. And Kristlyn in particular has put on over 10 pounds of muscle weight. And that's really crucial at her position because point guards have to handle a lot of contact and physicality just bringing the ball down the floor alone, much less the rest of the game. We knew she could score from the get-go, and I wanted to shoot even more at times and get to the basket even more in transition, and she's working on those parts of her game. But just really pleased with her progression as young as she is, and to not have another fellow freshman to really, you know, be there by her side. And she's got to grow up fast. So, you know, I jokingly tell her we're going to treat her like a sophomore here very quickly, and just keep bringing her along. So I think in a lot of ways she's just had to grow up naturally, quickly, because of her surroundings.
We're excited about Cece, and we're excited about what the rest of this group will do this year. Coach, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back on Double T Insider. back into Double T Insider. Gio, you and I have talked a lot about this Kansas State win and what it does for the Red Raiders and hopefully implications of postseason play. And gosh, we just can't talk enough about this senior class, especially Missy Owens. Missy Owens has been, since she got here, has really transformed, I think, the program. And we always talk about what a setter can do in the position she can put her team in, and we've seen that with Missy with 1,000 assists this year. Just been fantastic. And she's a player who, I mean, she was at Long Beach State, and Coach Greystone came and wanted for her to come be part of the program. And at that point, he's selling a team that the year before hadn't won a single conference game. And so she bought into what he wanted to do, and she wanted to come be part of it, and she has helped really turn around this program. He sold her a vision, as he is doing with all these recruits he has brought in, and we're seeing it all come to fruition this year. But a tremendous senior class that means a lot to Coach Greystone and this staff. Take a look.
These four, they all have different ways of coming to tech. They have different stories.
Missy, I don't think there's anyone that we were more excited to be a Red Raider early on than we were Missy.
The day that she committed, we kind of looked around as a coaching staff and said, okay, we're flipped. This program is turned around right now.
Missy has completely changed this program.
Kendall has been such an amazing addition to our team.
I think Kendall brings a lot of perspective, and she reminds people why we do it. The quote by Mia Hamm, where it's like, remember the little girl that wanted to be where you are today, do it for her. I think that is Kendall Cowan to a T.
Sarah, I'll always think about her and her personality, just how she carries herself, just the vibe that she gives, how everybody just wants to be around her and play with her, and that energy she brought every day.
Losing her voice in the gym this year was tough, but she was able to take on another role for us, and she's done great. And we miss having her out on the court, but we understand, why she couldn't continue.
I couldn't be more proud of how she's mentored these young athletes that, essentially were filling her role.
She just has such a big impact on the court. I can't imagine not being there with Katie. Just her voice and her presence on the court and her leadership that she's grown into is such a big role for our team, and we're really going to miss it.
It's been so cool to watch her throughout these years find her voice. We look at her as the kid to be our #1 leader.
She's a big part of the reason why Texas Tech volleyball is where it is today and where it's going to be.
So for us, trying to turn this program around and take it into a different direction, and to have these four being the ones leading the charge, their legacy is set, and we're going to remember them for a long time.
4 big players for Texas Tech with all different roles. Congratulations to these seniors this year. Well, still to come on Double T Insider, we'll let you know what's happening this week in Texas Tech athletics.
Double T Insider was brought to you in part by Plains Capital Bank. Bank with confidence. The Red Raider Club. Your support, their effort, our fearless champions. Texas Farm Bureau. Register today for your chance to deliver the game ball and receive a VIP experience at a Texas Tech home football game. Contest details available at texastech.com.
Welcome back to Double T Insider. As we mentioned, Red Raider football goes back out on the road this week as they face off against Baylor in Arlington Saturday, kickoff at 11 o'clock. Meanwhile, Red Raider basketball is here at home on Saturday. They face off against Northern Colorado, tip-off at 4:30.
We heard from Coach Marlene Stallings earlier. The Lady Raiders will host Houston Baptist Saturday at 2 o'clock. And Tony Greystone and his Red Raider volleyball team will close out the season Friday night against Iowa State.
Thanks so much for joining us today on Double T Insider, and we hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving. For Robert Giovanetti, I'm Taylor Peters, and this is Double T Insider.